3, 2, 5. So hello out there, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm on 3 channels all at once. My name is Sean. I did federal time in Florence, Colorado. And the term for a person like me is a returning citizen. I've been out a few years. This is federal prison talk, and I have Phillip Augustin here. And I've got to know him over the few months, and he's got to turn himself in. And on Wednesday, he's got to do 78 months going to Coleman Camp in Florida. And he said he'd come on the show. And I know you already been on with RDEP Dan. And my props to RDEP Dan because he helped me out before I went to prison. RDEP Dan's a good guy. He put money on my books.
Great guy.
He's been on my show. So my props to RDEP Dan. Phillip, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
I'm Phillip Augustin. I took a PPP loan. They gave me 78 months for it. And, a lot of people say, man, that's punishment. And I believe it's a true divine assignment from my God who allowed me to get in the mess that, I always was chasing money. So he allowed money to be the thing that brought me back to him. So I thank God for that.
Yeah, I know, Phillip, you are a man of God, and you've turned your life around before you went to prison. Are you listening, people out there that are going to prison? He's come to terms with everything before he went in, and that's the key. And if you can't do it before, you at least do it while you're there. But you don't wait till you get out to change your life, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
a lot of guys, I'll quit drugs when I get out. I'll go straight when I get out. You know what? That's never going to happen. You could.
It ain't gonna happen. Yeah.
You're never going to happen.
I had my come to Jesus moment.
There you go.
Over the last, after 60 days of after my arrest, I turned my life over to God. So it's been a little more than close to 2 years now, and I don't know what I would have did without him. It was such a battle. Oh man, I couldn't imagine them not having them with me, during this battle, because you know how long it takes for them to get to you. It's like the unknown, the fear of the unknown. I was going crazy. And then when I turned my life over to God, it wasn't that I still didn't have anxieties, but I had somebody to turn it over to. So I would tell everybody out there, get closer to the God of your understanding. Mine is Jesus Christ, but get close to the God of your understanding.
Yeah, if it's Allah, whatever it is, man, Hey,
it don't matter.
Yeah.
For me, it's Jesus Christ, but whoever your God of understanding is get close to him, because that's the only way you're going to make it through this in the same state of mind.
This is coming from a guy who hasn't even turned himself into prison yet, guys. You hear this?
I turned myself in Wednesday.
I got people coming in the room here. Let me just acknowledge them because they're real important to me. I got EIC Colombiano 818. He says, been watching your channel and you're such a positive person and motivator to so many people. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
He says, keep up the amazing job. You've been doing it. TJ is in the house. TJ got a great sentencing just last month. He thought he might do up to a year in prison, and he had a deal where he was on an airline flight, kind of got into it with one of the flight attendants about the mask and stuff. But so they gave him 6 months home confinement and a bunch of probation. But he doesn't have to go. What's that?
I said, way to go, TJ.
Way to go, TJ. And here's my favorite lady here, Katrina Strub. So Katrina has been so proactive. Her son is in federal prison, and he's been in the system for a few years. And this lady is so proactive. She's on all the channels. She's calling up all the judges, and she's out there. She's talking to everybody to help her son.
What prison is he located at?
Well, now, Katrina, you can tell him because he just finally got designated. They've been holding him in detention for almost 2 years. She'll tell you here in a minute. TJ with the $5 super sticker. All right. Thank you, TJ. And Katrina says, between Sean and Dan, you would be well prepared.
Thank you. I feel good. I feel honored.
And am I freezing up here? Uh-oh. I got too many channels. Now, EIC, I don't have, I'm going to call you 818. He says, I've been on pretrial 27 months. Just got sentenced May 12th to 10 months in Lompoc Federal Prison Camp. 10 months. Lompoc's, they're going to make you work there. They got a farm and a dairy. You're going to work, but that'll make your time go by. And it's actually a beautiful place. It's out by Santa Barbara, near the beach and stuff.
The hard part.
Yeah. About 27 months, 4 years for me. I understand, guys. He says, you helped my family and I so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. TJ says, how much time he got? I think he's talking about you. So how much time did you get?
78 months.
78 months, TJ. You hear that? 78 months. But we've been doing I'm sure you do it every day. You get out the pen and paper and you figure out your good time and the first step back credits and the RDAP time. You know, I can get 4 years. I can get 3 years and 8 months if I do this. How many? Let me scratch that. I mean, how many times do you add it every day?
You know what? I did it a couple times. And then from that point, I just let God handle it because it'll go the way I need to go. I want to be where he wants me to be at. For Sean, for so much of my life that I did everything the way I wanted to do it. And you see what doing things the way I wanted to do, where it got me. So I'm at a point now that, you know, I don't want to keep worrying so much about getting out before I even get in there.
Here's Katrina with her answer. Still in detention center, MDC, Brooklyn. No telling how long. Been in transit since March. Yeah, I don't know who's been going through more hell, Katrina, the mother, or the son. Because when we go to prison, man, our families, you know, they're in a prison of their own. We leave them high and dry, you know. So we're gonna go where we don't have any bills, where, you know, we can get in shape and work out. What's that?
24-hour security, all kind of good food.
Yeah, you know,
we go get in shape.
Yeah, we get in shape. We eat good. We're taking classes. We're educating ourselves. The bills don't come in the mail. We don't see that anymore.
Right.
You know?
100%, man. You know, it's all in the perspective on the way we take it. What I've learned, Sean, more than anything is that I don't even move in situations now. And I move by God's revelation. So no matter what goes on, I'm going to be content where I'm at. I'm going to enjoy the day of wherever I'm at, talking to people, camaraderie of just talking to some of the fellas and making the best of an everyday situation. Will I miss home? Of course I'm going to miss home. You know what I mean? But, you know, I feel as though I'm truly on assignment, you know, and the difference between assignment and punishment is basically when you turn your life over to God, you realize that whatever, you know, is meant for bad, God will turn it to good. That's the difference between being on assignment and being punished. You know, if you don't turn yourself over to God, then basically you're just gonna put yourself through misery and be punished. But as something learned, imagine if you wouldn't have went in, Sean, and you would still be out in the streets just ripping and running. But here you are helping people.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that because it's all a journey and it's God's plan. And you know, I was a guy who, you know, I was raised Catholic, and we kind of go to. I'm one of those Catholics. Maybe I go to church for midnight mass at Christmas, but I'm sinning throughout the year and all that. And you know, when I finally got to prison, I got in touch with God. Now, I didn't come out a big Bible thumper and Jesus saves, and nothing like that. But I found God. I talked to God. I call him now a lot, but the phone number's busy. He puts me on hold, but he gets to me.
Don't worry about it. He's listening.
He's listening. You know, now when I talk to God, I ask him about his problems. I go, you know, you've helped me. Just let me listen to you. What's going on with you up there? Just dump on me, God, because you need somebody to dump on too, you know?
Hey, I'll give you something to laugh about. One of the things after I turned my life about, I would pray on a constant basis. I would say, Lord, no incarceration, you know, just maybe probation. And when I got the sentencing and I ended up leaving, and we was talking to everybody about the sentence I received, they said, well, at least you're not going to be considered, you just be detained. You can't go home, but you're not going to be considered to be incarcerated. And I said, oh God, you really will make me laugh. You're a jokester, aren't you? Like, that's why you got to be specific in your prayers. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Like I was saying, if you know those genies that give you 3 wishes, a guy says, well, I want to live for 1,000 years. So they turn them into a cockroach, you know?
Yeah.
You got to be specific, man.
Hey, you got to be specific, man. But I'll tell you, I'll talk a little bit about the journey of the PPP so that some of the people that are out there understand, you know, what's going on. A large population of the United States is going to get caught up in this PPP battle. It was a time that some of us, like me, used greed. Some others, you know, took it because they really needed to take it. You know, it was a big cookie jar. We, you know, we knew that we wasn't supposed to put our hand in it, and I put my hand in it. Not only did I put my hand in the cookie jar of PPP, I invited other people to come eat, the cookie jar too, which made a conspiracy. And I was responsible for a lot of people. My loan, one of the things the prosecutor said is your loan was the lowest loan out of all the loans, even though your company got commissions. But the fact that you took and did it, you had somebody to do your paperwork, and then you referred other people to that person, is what makes you a part of the organization of the conspiracy. So I understood it from the beginning. I started figuring out how things was. I have a $6 million restitution off an $84,000 loan. My company did make a couple $100,000 commission. So I take full blame for what was done. I take, because truly, no matter what we say, that they try to say they ran out of money, but whether they ran out of money or not, which they didn't, for those of us that did take it, what I would like to tell people is don't make no type of excuse for why you took it. Accept responsibility, not even for the feds or whatever, but accept responsibility in your own heart. See, because our case was one of them cases where they grabbed everybody, and by the time they grabbed the guy that was over me, and he told on everybody anyway, so it wasn't nothing they needed to know from anybody else that I know of. But, it was one of those things where just taking your own responsibility just for your family's sake and saying, hey, I was wrong, and not making any excuses. I have, 10 kids, 9 grandkids. So it was big for my kids to see dad take responsibility, and for my grandkids, my oldest man, 18, for him to see Pop take responsibility. And now that, Pop has to go, do some, some things for the responsibility they took. So I think that's one of the biggest things. And your heart, it'll be a lot calmer once you accept responsibility. But I think the hardest part out of this whole journey was that 24 months of unknowing.
Yeah, that unknown, not knowing, and your life's on hold. And, a year goes by and people don't, you're not going to go to prison. They don't let you just run around free like this. Oh, you're going to get probation. Those are the people that'll listen to you, right?
Yeah, let me tell you something. And I was a pretty popular guy. I managed NFL players. I used to have a reality show on TV, Wreck Chasers on Discovery, back in the mid 2000s. So a lot of people knew me, So when I went down for the PPP, it was like just like the backyard celebrity went down. So I'm from Philadelphia, even though I stay in Florida now. Everybody was talking about me. Everybody was happy. People were laughing. Oh, they finally got them. And it was a hard journey, at the beginning, because my phone used to ring 150 to 200 times a day. You got to remember, I had a big loan company along with managing. I had a big loan company that loaned money to athletes. And,
so you were doing well enough where you didn't need to do this PPP scam.
Man, and the prosecutor said that in court. He said there was no even he said, Your Honor, it was pure greed on
greed. I was just gonna say greed.
And it was no money. I mean, it was absolutely no money. The $84,000 was nothing to be taken. But I won't mention any name, but one of my football players that basically showed me, he took it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna grab a couple dollars. So I didn't have but 7 employees, and I needed to add some more, and I needed some paperwork done, and I reached out to this guy that was already doing it, and he did some paperwork for me, and he said, hey, listen, man, I'll pay the company commission, and hey, okay, let's get this money. And so basically I ended up referring some people. I've referred 5 people, but my 5 people referred people that referred people that referred people, and before you know it, it was like 71 or 79 people that had took loans to this man.
Yeah, it's free money. Just call this number. Yeah, I get it.
It was coming so fast for some of the people. They were taking the loans at nighttime, and a day and a half later is in their account. One of the things I would say, I just think that you can't give people too much opportunity like that. And I realized that I probably would have been one of the ones talking about, why would I take that money? No, you wasn't supposed to. But God allowed me to be one of the ones that took it, so I would have that thorn in my side. Because I was the guy that used to walk around and think my poop didn't stink, that I really had it all going on. You know what I mean? Big record label. I had all this stuff going on. I had managing NFL players, managing artists. And, he had to sit me down in the green pasture and let me lie by the still water so that, my dumb behind would just get it together, and realize that he was all powerful. So I just want to tell people out there, Sean, more than anything is that I had put down one cross because, when the thing first happened, that's a cross. It's hard to bear with. You don't sleep. The only thing that allowed me to sleep, I started reading the 91st Psalms. in the morning and in the evening. And I started reading, and I started really getting my life together. I truly want to apologize to just the American taxpayers, and I was a taxpayer too, but it's unfair for just taking any money out of the hands out of the American taxpayers. So I do want to apologize for that, but I will tell the people that
is taking accountability. What you're doing right now, this is after you've been sentenced. You don't have to apologize to nobody. You've been sentenced now. And the fact that you're apologizing to the American taxpayer after you've been sentenced, I know you mean it.
But you know what? You know why that's very important, so that we don't make that same mistake again. So do you realize, no matter whether it was 84,000 or whether it was 800,000, when you talk to the commission or whatever part, it was $35 million applied for through all out the people. I think $15 million they received through different people. So that's $15 million that could have went to somebody that did the taxes the proper way, that had the proper employees. So I don't want to hear all these people talk about, well, we didn't know what was going to happen. There's a pandemic and we had to go for it and do what we needed to do. I've learned now that if you trust in God, you ain't got to do all that wrong stuff. Just because the whole world is falling apart, if you trust and believe in God, then you shouldn't be a part of that. But at that time, my faith wasn't strong. So I did what I did. I accept responsibility. I truly apologize. But I will tell people, I said, listen, one of the key things more than anything, is to come to guys like you, come to guys like RDAP Dan, who can really, truly help. Like, you can really make it through these situations. You turn to God and just make the best of a bad situation and make it to be a great situation. And you'll turn your problem into an assignment. You'll turn your punishment into an assignment. And you'll start seeing and learning that the more you believe, the more he'll reveal to you. And you'll understand why you're on the journey you're on.
Yep. And I want to tell you a quick story, but let me acknowledge, Khalil says, was he just on RDAP Dan? Yes, he was just on RDAP Dan. And RDAP Dan's been on my show, guys, and RDAP Dan helped me. And but he's got a message he wants to tell you guys. So, yeah, he was on RDAP Dan. And if you haven't seen it, go to RDAP Dan channel and check that out too. Because especially if you're getting ready to go to prison, you need to hear what Phillip has to say. But, Phillip, I want to tell you a quick little story. So, I had a similar charge. I was doing false tax preparing, but I was going after that Obama money from, remember he was giving away that,
I remember.
I forget what it's called, but Obama something. So I was getting people paid in 10 days and my phones are ringing off the hook. And I got homeless guys calling me in here. I'm thinking, oh, I'm getting homeless guys money. So I'm Mr. Good Guy. So when I got thrown in jail before I got out on my pretrial bond, and the first Sunday there, I signed up for to go to a church service, and they gave me a Bible. And when I got back to my cell, here I'm like, I'm Mr. Good Guy. I'm just taking the government's money and giving it to homeless guys. I'm Mr. Good Guy. I'm not doing nothing wrong. I opened up the Bible. The first page that I read was about taking Caesar's money. That story. I don't. But when I read it, that was a message from God. That government money is not yours. That's Caesar's money. You have no right to take it. And that hit me home. This is before I got sentenced. 4 years before I got sentenced. And I still remember that day. That was God telling me that I did wrong. That's not my money to take. No, you can't justify stealing from the government. It's Caesar's money, and you took Caesar's money. You took Caesar's money, right?
100%. 100%. You know what I mean? And that was the one of the things that a lot of people made excuses, and I wanted to make an excuse for at the beginning. But I said, well, it was a pandemic. We don't know what was going to happen. Nah, right is right, wrong is wrong. And when you can live with that, what's going on. I can walk in those doors, and I told my wife and my kids, I said, will I have a little sadness and anxiety separating from y'all for the first time, really not knowing how many years it's going to be with the reductions and all the type of stuff that goes on. I said, but one of the things I do know is that accepting responsibility, accepting God, Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior is the best thing I've ever done. And I'll be able to go in there and just keep my head up.
Katrina's got a message for you. She says now that statute of limitations on COVID-related federal fraud is 10 years.
You know what? I was just talking about that to my mother-in-law. what my wife's girlfriend is here, the statute of limitations on most crimes is 7 years. But boy, the government will move the statute of limitations up to 10 years just to get people for their money.
They need that time to catch everybody.
But think about this. If they treated every crime in the United States as they're treating PPP and have it would be a lot of things that would be stopped.
Yeah, they have the resources to go after them. Well, what about, all the other
all this crime and all this stuff? But I'm not. Once again, that's the government. They do what they want to do.
I know. They want to change all these gun laws, and I got one word for you: Chicago, toughest gun laws in the world. 46 people shot this weekend. Come on.
And imagine this
right here. In the world.
Imagine that. They have the Secret Service, they have the CIA, they have the FBI, and they have every other counter department that imaginable going out for people that stole PPP money. Imagine doing that for every shooting in the United States, for every person to have an illegal gun. You have never, ever seen a CIA agent, doing a local bust in a local city to stop guns. But imagine if they would put these same resources to everything imaginable, all the different crimes, we would stop a lot. So we do understand. I understand the politics of it. But even in the mix of that, I was dead wrong. I accept the things have been wrong. But I pray to God that one day that they take everything in the United States, every crime, every rape, every human trafficking.
Human trafficking. I'm just going to throw that out there. Yeah.
As serious as that they're taking EIDL and as serious as that they're taking PPP. I pray to God that they take every crime that's happening in every rural, a city, every inner city, every school, everything. As they take, if they stop and once again, I'm wrong. But if we would use some of those resources to put at some of these schools or some of the resources to put at some of the elementary schools, we would have a cop or two at every school or have the CIA agent at every local school like they have. It was so many agents that came to my house to pick me up. I said, y'all could have just called my lawyer and I would have just came in.
Oh, yeah. Just like they did the Roger Stone. I know. I had 30 black SUVs on my block. I get it.
I had more than you. They put me on a $1.5 million bail.
And they stay there all day to make sure all the neighbors see it, even the ones that are at work. They're gonna make sure they're long enough. Yeah, my whole block knew. Nobody.
The DOJ writes these big articles that's just so one-sided, and I'm thinking, man, if they put so much energy, like they're putting in this right here, and everything, there would be no crime. Can you imagine if you had something to worry about? Some of these blocks. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and they got a place called Kensington that's just they got.
Oh yeah.
It's like the worst place in the world. It's like zombies walking all around and fentanyl's everywhere.
Yeah, and that's the tenderloin of the East Coast.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I said, can you imagine with all this fentanyl all over everywhere, if the DEA and the CIA and the FBI was just to plant a person down in those areas? Do you know how much of that they're shut down?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? But the only way that you can get all these active people to come is if you take a PPP loan. So.
Yeah, let's go after that. I mean, what's important? I mean, like you said it, you broke the law, you stole money. I get it, but priorities are just not there for the government. Right. At 78 months, that's plenty time to learn your lesson. That's kind of a hard sentence compared to all these other crimes we're talking about. That's a real long sentence.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, right? You're taking accountability for it.
And I had a great judge. I must say, even the prosecutor was great. Elliot from out in Cleveland, Phil Trout was great from the DOJ. My lawyer, Mike Greco, he did a great job. So I just realized that it was time for me to get my life together with God. It was time to just really start getting myself together and moving in the right track. And God just allowed this to happen for me to get it together. One of the things I do realize, I said, during this time for the last 2 years, I watched my sister bury my nephew. I buried, my father. I watched my, friend bury his daughter that committed suicide. And so many people that I know just going through so much trauma until I realized, I said, you know what you're going through right now, it can't bring anybody back. But I tell you what, we got to hold our head up and make the best of this. And as many people as I get, my job now is in the system, whether the camp or the low in the camp system, is to help as many people as I can. So if you know anybody that's coming to Coleman, feel free to, core links me and let me know. I'm gonna take it upon myself to have a welcome package there for them. I'm gonna walk them through everything I learned and to help their journey.
You went. Something happened. Your audio's out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So most of their journeys will be shorter than my journeys, and I'll be there, to make, do the best I can for anybody. So anybody out here that's going to Coleman, please feel free to hit Sean, and Sean will hit me. And,
if you guys hit me up, because Philip's gonna connect with my core links, and then I can send him your email, and then you'll get an invite from him from Coleman. We can do it like that.
So anybody that just need to some help walking through the situation, I know how hard it is, but I know that God can pull you through all of this, Sean. And I really appreciate for you bringing me on the live, man. And this is my journey. This is what my divine purpose to do is to smile in the midst of a total storm and to get the purpose out of the storm. These storms will pass. The first part of the storm passed. I know the sentencing. Eventually, I'll go in the door and I'll walk out the door, and that'll pass too. But it's how do you live your life while you're in there, and how do you live your life when you get out of there? That's going to make a difference if you really are apologetic to the system.
Yeah. TJ says, yeah, that's a long sentence compared to others. Damn. And then Katrina said, not just PPP, also unemployment benefits. The extra money was federal. Yeah, and they're going after those people too. I mean, they're cracking now. You know how many parents in the world right now have a daughter or a son that hasn't been home in 5 or 10 years, that's out there being trafficked, being sold as a sex slave? I'm talking parents in the world, not just our country. And these parents, all they can do is pray that their child gets saved somewhere. I mean, human trafficking is. I did a show with a lady from a human trafficking organization here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you check my channel, it's just type in human trafficking, and the numbers are just astounding, and nobody cares. And the reason I'm telling you guys, because I care, and the media doesn't care. They want to talk about the Queen's birthday in England and Johnny Depp and all this stuff. You know how many kids are out there just being sold as sex slaves, boys and girls, and the boys probably get more money than the girls because you got these Harvey Weinstein guys and all that out there. Whatever,
right now they don't have enough, to worry about that because they have to worry about the PPP and get all of us hardcore criminals, white collar criminals off the street as fast as possible.
Do you know how many parents in Mexico have missing kids that went to the border and they're never to be seen again or heard of again because they're sold as sex slaves? Parents in Mexico.
Yeah,
and they thought they were doing a good thing, sending their 17-year-old girl to America to go stay at their uncle's and get a job and do something because they couldn't, provide. And now the daughter's been missing for 3 years. It's terrible, man.
And I mean, even with the resources for the PPP loans and things of that nature, I think that what they should do so they don't have to waste as much resources, I think they should, the same way that you applied for the loan by email, it's the same way they need to send you an email and say you have X amount of days to turn yourself in for taking the loan. And just you go down to the building, turn yourself in, you get a bail, you come out, and you go to trial. And that'll save everybody a lot of money.
There you go. That would save a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of all that resources. Sure.
I will tell you this: a lot of people think they got away with it. You're not.
You're not. You're just in line. You're in line. You're on a list. You don't know about that list, but they're going to come for you.
If it's 9 years, 11 months, and 29 days, you're going to get a knock at your door, whether it was 10,000 or whether it was $1 million. They're coming. So the best thing you can do now is to get in front of it. Start trying to pay the loan back. If you can pay the loan back, pay it back.
Yeah, that'll help you if you can pay it back.
That will help you. But if you can pay it back and you actually used it for a company, send the SBA their money back. If you're in a predicament like me where you just invited every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come on and get the money as well, then you might have a pretty heavy restitution. I'll be paying that $6 million restitution the rest of my life, unless, I mean, the people that are under me, whoever pays first, as they pay, the numbers come down.
Yeah, you got the group thing. I got that too. It's like I got 8 people. Somebody wins the lottery, I guess I'm off the hook. But yeah, I have $1.7 million. I pay 10%. 10% of what I make goes to my restitution for the rest of my life. That only covers the interest. I'll never get, because they charge you 30% penalties and interest every month. So on $1 million plus, you'll never even get the interest paid.
Can you imagine? Think about the interest on $6 million that has already been written off and has already been charged off and on their taxes and taken from the profit that they made. Can you imagine that? Yeah. But hey, listen, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Right now, the day is to save somebody's life that's going through the same heartache, that cannot sleep and that are going crazy. I just want to tell y'all that you can make it through this situation, and we are there to help you make it through the situation. I'm taking I have a 78-month sentence, and if you need me while I'm in there, I will write you, I will call you, whatever it takes, so that you can have a decent sleep at night. So it ain't no need for you to lose your sleep. God is up all night, so it ain't no need for us to stay up.
That's right. God bless. Hey, I want to make a quick plug. Harvey Talks Prison is on. My alarm just went off to remind me in 1 hour, Harvey does a live show on YouTube. If you haven't checked out his channel, in an hour, Harvey Talks Prison. He goes live every Saturday. He's consistent. It's not like me, guys, every other Saturday. No, Harvey's there every Saturday in 1 hour. Harvey Talks Prison. Great show every Saturday. Harvey, I will be there. He did 29 years in Missouri State prisons. Harvey's turned his life around too. He's got a channel like me where we talk positive. We're not covered in tattoos, telling you how to make a shank and how to make pruno and a tattoo gun.
Look, I'm covered in tattoos now.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, not to talk bad about these prison channels, but some of them got 1 million followers, and they're going to tell you, how to stab somebody in prison and all. You want to watch that? Go ahead, because 1 million people do. But me and Harvey and RDAP Down, we're here to tell you positive things about going to prison. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, I'm going to be your inside link in the prison, keep you informed on what was for child that day, so that we can keep everybody informed. When they come, we will have a hot meal for you if you come to Coleman.
Hey, I wanted to get into talking about religious services at prison. You don't know, but I mean, they're out there. And then I wanted to talk about, since you're going to a camp that doesn't have RDAP, how you are going to go to RDAP. So maybe we can get into those two things. But what do you know about religious services in prison? Because I can fill you in on what you don't know.
You know what? Go ahead. I will tell you this. I don't know too much about them, but I'm a devoted Christian. But one of the things that I wanted to get out of going to the camp is to have different religious services that I can go in and just learn about all the different religions that are out there. I'm real curious. It'd be the same thing if I actually was going to seminary. So it's just something that I want to take my time and learn and get to meet different people, and some of the Jewish people that study the Torah, some of the Muslims that study the Quran and different things of that nature. So I'm real anxious about that. Tell me a little bit about it, though.
Yeah. So in my camp, we only had 400 people in my camp, but we had a big chapel, about half the size of the chow hall, and it had a couple side rooms. The library in the chapel was bigger than the prison library, so plenty of books. And they probably had maybe 15 different religious services. I mean, they had Jewish, they had Islam, they had Mormons, they had Jehovah's Witnesses, they had Southern Baptists, Northern Baptists, they had Lutheran, Presbyterian, Catholic, non-denominational, all that. On Sundays and Saturdays, since there were so many, they'd split it up. But during the week, you got your Bible studies. Then you just have church groups, get together. During the week, there's always something going on in the evening with one of the different religions. Now on Saturday nights was my favorite night because it was movie night, and we get movies that were released maybe a month ago, and all the religious services gathered in the chapel. It probably held about 150 guys. Now, this is the only place I had a chair. I had my own little special. Everybody had a chair. And after chow hall, about 6 o'clock, I'd go to the chapel, and sometimes I'd bring snacks and stuff for the guys. Other people would do it. We all had our chair, and we'd watch this movie on a big, giant widescreen and surround sound, and it was just the greatest time because I'm sitting there with Muslims, with Jewish, with Mormons, and we all got along on Saturday nights. It was like I love Saturday nights in prison. It was the best. It was just, I mean, and you could feel God in the room, you know.
Bless him.
And I went to the Mormon services. I went to Islam services. I tried a Jewish one, even though I'm Catholic. I went to different ones because I was still kind of searching. I was searching, you know what I mean? And you get a chance to search there. And I was welcome at all the services. I mean, they even had the Wiccan, and then they had the Thor, you know, the Thor, the thunder god Thor, you know. They had, I forget what it's called, but they have their religion there. And then the Native Americans have their services there. So there's all kinds of and it's all kinds of stuff going on during the week. There was about 5 or 6 chaplains there representing different services. And when my father died in prison, the chaplain called me in, let me use the phone to call home, you know, to my stepmother, and, you know, give my condolences and stuff like that. And the chaplains are there for you. They'll help you.
Did you get a furlough?
No, because it was, you know, 1,000 miles away. And,
okay.
And plus they were going to bury him in Ireland because my father was born in Ireland. And so they weren't going to let me go to Ireland for the weekend.
Hey, what you say? You might not come back home, right?
Yeah. But if you do have somebody who dies while you're in prison, the chaplain can set all that up to give you a furlough pass and everything.
That's one thing I don't want. That's one furlough I'll do without.
They do give social furloughs. After you've been there 18 months, you can apply for social furlough, and that's a weekend with your wife or your kids or a family member. But it's a lot of red tape to get it, but I saw at least 10 guys get one, and it can be done. And if you go to the description under my videos, scroll down, and there's how to get a work furlough. The passes are on there. You can download the pass and mail it to somebody in prison. And it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. You got nothing but time. Do the paperwork, and you can definitely get a weekend pass while you're in a prison camp. Now, you have to be 18 months to the door, and you've had to have done 18 months there. You have to prove yourself. But if you qualify for all that, you get a weekend pass. You might want to go for that. You know, your wife gets a motel for the weekend, and, you know, it's worth it.
Yeah. So one of the things that I guess we can bring out for the people, we talked about the system. Then let's talk about some of the time that, you know, like let's break my time down.
Okay.
You know, you figure 78 months. I walk in the door, I get a year off if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So people feel a little more comfortable about getting the time.
So you go from 6.5 years to 5.5 years now.
Right. Now, then the first step back in taking classes for every 30
classes
days.
and programs, you're there in plenty of time. The most you can get is a year off, but for every 30 days of programming, and you only need an hour a day to qualify for 1 day. So 30 days of classes or programs, and they're even giving you work credits now. If you're in the cafeteria and you're learning how to chop vegetables, it's you know, veggie prep, and it counts as a culinary class. And they'll give you that. So 30 days, you're going to get halftime, but only up to a year. So now you go from 5.5 years to 4.5 years.
Right. Then you're
going to get the RDAP. That's going to give you a year off. So you go from 4.5 to 3.5 years. The RDAP also gives you an extra 6 months halfway house. So that year off you get for the first step back, you can do on home confinement. Then you can get another 6 months at the halfway house. So now you're going from, where were we? 4.5?
3.5.
3.5 to 3 years. So now you can be out in 3 years. And I think that's about the best you can fine tune that. But 3 years.
The Second Chance Act, you can get up to what is it? A year for halfway. So you'd be like 6 months. So that would bring you down to 30 months.
Theoretically, you can do 18 months in a halfway house and another year on home confinement. But I have yet to find somebody that's done 18 months in a halfway house. I have found people that done a year in a halfway house. So with any luck, maybe you could get out in 2.5 years. You'd have to do a year at the halfway house and then a year on home confinement.
What I love about that, and this is to give people some hope that are going through things. I truly believe that God's the gatekeeper. So when he's tired of me and when I've done my assignment and done what I'm supposed to do, then I'll be back out here talking to y'all and just telling you about the journey. Now I'm gonna note down everything that I go through while I'm in there, just so that I can be able to come out here and help somebody else, man. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about going through a situation, receiving God's revelation, so that we can be able to be a light to somebody else. So if anybody that's out there, that's listening to Sean. Sean is a great guy. Between guys like Sean and RDAP Dan, they will prepare you, because they, just having Sean as a friend and having RDAP as a friend has truly made my life much easier.
Yeah, now listen to that. Now let me tell you a little story. So I came from San Francisco. Now I moved to Albuquerque, and a lot of the friends I met in prison live in Albuquerque. I've reunited with half a dozen of them. And I have one friend, I'm going to call him Jose. So he got out after me. He's only been out maybe 8 months. But a couple of months ago, I met with him. We hooked up. And he even came to my job and talked to my boss. And we listened to him. Now, here's the thing. He had been making, thousands of dollars a week selling drugs. Now he's out of the halfway house in Albuquerque. He's at home living with his sister. He's got a job making $15 an hour. The boss is yelling at him. He's miserable. It's a night shift. And he's going, Sean, I got an opportunity. All I got to do is, score one little bag and deliver it to this guy. And it's $2,000. And I don't even have to work. Probation will never know. But I don't want to go back to those old ways. Now, I'm telling you the short story, but I got a chance. He was on the fence. I call it on the fence. So I think God put me right there at the right time to talk him in. I don't know about talk him in, but to see the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do.
Right.
He chose the right thing to do. Now he took that job. He's making $15 an hour. Things are going well. His probation's happy. Had I not intervened, or God not intervened, or somebody, and I never went to prison and met this guy, he'd be right back in prison. I like to think part of my journey was God to put me to go through prison to meet this guy, to be there on that day when he needed me.
Yep, and that was 100%. So now let me ask you this, Sean. I'm not even going to ask you. I'll explain it to you. That will go to show you that God has you on assignment. So it couldn't have been punishment. Punishment would have been you staying out in the streets, man, on drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what basically happens is we chase something. Most of us chase money. Some of us chase women. Some of us chase drugs. But God allows us, whatever we chase and put ahead of him, to be the same thing that brings us back to him. And when you look at things of that nature, the thing that you want to do is go do what you got to do, take accountability, and don't chase the same madness over again. Never put anything over God. Love people, give, and that's the key to life. What else do we want to do?
That's right. So I have the blessing now to be in touch with guys I did time with, and they're my support group now. And I've had to call them. I don't have great days, guys. I get real depressed. And sometimes, you know what? I have days where I just send me back to prison. I got 6 months left on probation. I can't take it. I have my days, guys. I lived in clean and sober living houses for 2 years, sharing a room with 4 guys, and you talk about drama. These guys have never been to prison, and they don't know how, and I've had my bad days, guys, but if I didn't have my support group and I didn't have God and this channel, me venting right now is going to set me up to have a good day by me saying this.
And listen, we're going to keep in touch with each other on Course Links. And if any, and I'm going to put your number down, but if you're having a bad day, man, hit me up on Core Links and say, P, man, what kind of day you having? And let me help you with your day. Because you got to remember, I'm going to be getting 3 free meals. You know what I mean? I'll probably end up with a nice chef that can really cook some fried rice. I get to walk the track. I got 24-hour security. You know what I mean? So I don't have to worry about.
Get used to chicken fried rice. You have it once a week.
I don't have to worry about my car breaking down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so many things I don't have to worry about. I got 10 kids, 9 grandkids, and a tough wife, and they'll be able to handle everything that need to be handled out here. And other than that, man, I'm going in to do what I need to do to get myself together. You know, but because Sean, I'm 5'11". I'm an airborne, I deployed to Desert Storm. So it's not like I can't handle myself. I'm 327 pounds. I'm going to lose 100 pounds. I'm going to lose a whole person and get myself mentally and spiritually together. So when I come out, my job to bring people to the kingdom and to help people. And that's what I'm going to do, man. And I appreciate you for having me. And if there's anything I can do before I leave or anything I can do once I'm already in there, I'm going to get my son in touch with you so you'll have contact with the family and anything that we can do for you, man. Hey, I'm here.
Katrina's telling you, Philip, they have a national menu in the feds. Tell them, Sean. Yeah, every prison eats the same thing. But Katrina, every prison has different cooks, and the COs who run the kitchen, you got some that are cheap and they want to get a bonus. And you got other ones that want to make the inmates happy. They'll order you all the oregano and Italian spices and garlic and all that. And they'll give you all the proper tools and oils. You got other ones that want to order from a different warehouse and get the cheap food. Yes, they all have to make the same menu, but the cooks and the COs, you get Florence, we had a good cook for 2 years. We had a bad cook for 1 year, but you get the right cook, and you get the one who's not going to steal half the food and take it back and sell it.
I'll tell you this, Sean. I was 82nd Airborne. You know, I fought in Operation Just Cause in Panama. I fought in Operation Desert Storm. You know, I went 7 months in Desert Storm without no shower during the ground war. So I've had to make the best of MREs for almost 12 months. So, you know, I could either still can and make the best of it because it's more mental. I swallow it and taste it later.
So they have roast beef twice a month. Lasagna. The lasagna was to die. It was the best lasagna twice a month. You know, we have every Thursday you get a quarter piece of chicken. Hamburgers on Wednesdays with French fries. Our camp made sure the French fries came right out of the fryer. They cook the hamburgers right on the grill. They take the hamburger right off the grill and put it on your bun. I mean, some days some of the food's really, really good. You know, and there's some days it's just like, really? I'm not going to eat this.
Long they got some cantaloupes, you know what I mean? And you know, I love
all summer long we got watermelon for dinner and for lunch and cantaloupe and honeydew in the morning. Yeah, lots of fresh fruit, man. Yeah.
How listen, you know, it's summertime. How about fireworks and barbecue for 4th of July? Are they
4th of July, all the camps that I know that people came in and told me about, they all barbecue. They set up these outdoor barbecues. So you're going to get, on 4th of July, man, they outdid it for us. We got a quarter piece of chicken. We got a barbecued hot dog and a hamburger and apple pie and potato salad and coleslaw and the ice cream, you know, little ice cream cups. And I forget what else, but I mean, it was a huge tray. You know what we
talking about?
4th of July. and a big piece of watermelon.
And listen, and you got to, the best part about all that is that all the stress that you have been living through for the whole time that of the unknown, you can just let it go. It's behind you. Yeah. It's really behind you, you know, and that's the key, you know, that we'll make it through this, you know, Sean, and hopefully, you know, that we the way we connect on core links and, you know, we'll stay in touch with each other seriously. But anybody that you know that's coming to Coleman, you make sure you get in touch with me, and I do anything that I could possibly do for them. I'll give them the shirt off my back, literally, so that they'll be able to make the journey a little easier. Once again, I apologize to the taxpayers for, you know, taking part of any of this, because, you know, once again, it was truly wrong. I apologize for even the people that don't pay taxes, for your future, you know, generation to pay taxes. You know, and I just want to tell everybody, don't beat yourself up about it. Take it as an assignment. Get yourself closer to God. Get to know Sean. Get to know RDAP Dan. You know what I mean? Get close to these guys. These guys will lead you to the promised land along with God. Amen. I appreciate you.
God bless you. And I'm gonna thanks for those last words. Don't forget, in 45 minutes, Harvey Talks Prison. he goes live. I'll be over there talking on the chat room. So
shout out to Harvey.
And Katrina says, just don't complain to your family about things. They're already worried. Yeah. Never complain to your family. Always tell them you love them on every phone call, every visit, every letter. Okay. All your problems that you want to deal, they'll be there when you get out, man. They're okay. They're not going nowhere. They're waiting for you.
I tell you what, I got one, my son Al and my son Phil that's holding it down. My son Al is truly holding it down here on the home front for me, who's my mini-me. So if anything that I can handle, he definitely be the one that can handle it. And, if he can't handle it, it just can't be handled. So I'm okay with that as well. So I have a great support group, and all they want me to do is go get myself together and lose some weight. And you know what I mean. He's sitting there laughing at me. Come say hi, Al. He's sitting there.
Hi, Al.
Yeah, but he's walked this journey with me from day one of no sleep, and he prayed with me. I love this guy, man.
All right.
I love this guy daily. He's the cryptocurrency master.
Oh, okay.
And he's got a great NFT project coming out called the Jockey Experience, and that's bringing horse racing to Web3 in the metaverse. So
all right, yeah. All right, man.
Hey, Sean, man, I appreciate you, man. And just keep in touch with me, Sean. Call me a little later after you get off of Harvey's.
I will, man. I will. And God bless you for everything. Thank you for doing the show.
Hey, I'm here, man. I'm here.
You hear that, guys?
Yeah, thank you to everybody.
All right. God bless, man.
God bless.